Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome again to my YouTube channel, Snacks Thoughts. Again, I say welcome to my podcast, YouTube and Anchor, Snacks Thoughts. And what is my thought for this evening? Well, I guess for this podcast, you can call it lack of discipline. And I'll say it again. The title for this episode would be Lack of Discipline. And when I talk about lack of discipline, the reason why I speak of it, I think about what it leads to. And we have many examples to look at, whether it be publicly or in our private lives. But you see the end results of it. When we talk about lack of discipline, we could look at everything from, our government, to the overprinting of money, the rise of homelessness, the rise of unemployment, and you can just see the chaos that's going on in society where it's becoming more and more ratchet and just getting crazy and no respect, for the law. And then even the law and our politicians, they're out of pocket. It's like the society has lost control. In people's personal lives, lack of discipline. What has it led to? Credit crunch, financial irresponsibility, everything to seeing families in disarray, and all of this is compounded during these trying times that we're in. But a lack of discipline. When a society lacks discipline, then there fails to be structure, and they fail to obey the rules. And this is where you get Capitol riots or people trying to storm the Capitol and take it over. This is where you get crime and more violent offenses. This is where you see inflation rise and money being printed to the point to where it's monopoly money and it becomes worthless. Lack of discipline. When a government or a country lacks discipline, when it used to be the number one world superpower, because it failed to produce goods and it outsourced everything in the name of capitalist greed, then another country takes over, which produces 95% of the world's goods, and that would be China. They just silently and in stealth mode take you out of the number one spot, and you become displaced to number two and probably number three. When you look at Russia, being on the rise, and then you have the BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and then also you can add to that you got Africa. But a lack of discipline. What has a lack of discipline led to? When Nixon took us off the gold standard, and allowed the printing press to run wild. And obviously, it was politics, and he's concerned about winning an election, and trying to satisfy certain powers that be. But a lack of discipline, and look where we are today because of it. A lack of discipline will lead you, to a stock market that's going nuts or going crazy when the actual economy is basically producing nothing and is failing. But in our personal lives, a lack of discipline can lead to problems, even to include not just finances, but our health. When we don't have the discipline to either diet and exercise in an appropriate way, over time, it can take its toll. And instead of us being able to lead a a healthy, happy life in our latter years, it leads to a bunch of medication in which some people can't even afford it. Living their life, sick, until the day that they pass on. A lack of discipline where your credit cards are maxed out to the hilt, or where you have big banks canceling people's credit cards and credit lines, such as Wells Fargo. A lack of discipline when you have bad loans, given out by Fannie Mae and Bank of America, and that was back in 2008. And I'm not normally one, I try not to call names, but we have to keep it real. But all of these problems that you see, these problems, they don't come just out of nowhere. There's always a root cause and something that led to it, and that is cause and effect. One thing leads to another. These problems, they didn't just stem overnight. We sowed these seeds. A lack of discipline leads to the catastrophe that you have in Afghanistan. Trillions of dollars spent, but the American people didn't benefit, but big corporations benefited off the money that we as taxpayers had to pay, and these corporations benefited at the expense of our soldiers and American lives, so that those few elite, that they could benefit. But you killed and drained out and starved the economy here in the United States. 20 years, and out of 20 years, what did we really get for it? Yeah, we can say we assassinated or took out Osama bin Laden, but for the amount of money that we pumped into Afghanistan just to spend on those contracts, and for that 20-year war, there should have been much more to show for it. And once again, we leave the American economy or the American people with a hole in their pocket because of a few that were greedy. A lack of discipline. And when you have a lack of discipline, then you have problems where the elite or the politicians, they have a problem, or the feds, that they can't figure out. So basically, they've reached a point where they can no longer kick the can down the road. And so it's like, well, just print. Just print money, and they're not necessarily solving any problems. When you have a lack of discipline, you see things that happen with IG models or Instagram models, and that's a whole nother story with OnlyFans and everything that's going on there. And I'm not knocking or hating on anybody's hustle, but when you have a point where you have prostitution basically running through OnlyFans, that is a lack of discipline, and that's a lack of discipline on a personal level, and it's also on a societal level. There's deeper problems or issues than that's going on. But it just seems like America is the superpower is on its way down. And I would say that I believe right now that China is number one. They may be trying to say America is number one, maybe to try and save face. But if you look at the statistics, and get the Carfax, and you could see for yourself, the evidence is there. You can't be a number one world superpower when you allow another nation to produce 95% of the world's goods. That means that they are in demand. And even with this Evergrande situation in China, they still produce 95% of the world's goods. And if they go down, they take the United States and the world with it. Now, granted, they do need the United States to keep on purchasing. So it's like we're stuck in a conundrum, in a hamster wheel cycle. But the United States has failed on its end. They overspent in their checkbook, but a lack of discipline. And that's in this right here, if you want to say, would be more macro. But then inside of it, there's micro levels where there are individual lives that lack discipline. Work all your life and then to come out with nothing, at the end of it, because you were undisciplined in your spending or in how you handled your finances. A lack of discipline. People living above their means. A lack of discipline. And all of this stuff in this particular climate is now coming back to bite us, and it's catching up, to people on an individual level, and also it's catching up to our country and our society. Big bad America, ruling the globe, but we forgot to take care of home. But yes, a lack of discipline. And so I'm not saying that all hope is lost, but I'm going to keep it real. There will definitely be there's going to be some suffrage, and one way or another, we all will be affected, even though those of us that have prepared as best as we could, that'll be able to weather this storm, but there will still be an effect. We might as well call it what it is. We are in a depression, and they fudge the unemployment numbers, and it's bad when you can't get people to take jobs. Employers are having a hard time getting people to take jobs, and they're demanding that they offer, these different, incentives, child care, and that would be fine for businesses that can afford that. But if their businesses are smaller, they're going to be in trouble. Middle class has been wiped out, or it's being destroyed. A lack of discipline, caused by those at the top. This COVID-19, they can't get their stuff right and decide whether Johnson & Johnson's, Moderna, or Pfizer is effective, and they're wanting to come out with an extra third shot. Just total chaos, and it's unorganized. And then you have a lot of people that they don't want to take it, but you have a lack of discipline in this society and in this country, and as a result, you're seeing stuff just bounce off the wall and go off the chain. And if they don't get a grip on this situation, the Biden administration has their hands full. Do I need to go further with the Haitian immigrants? They have their hand full. So hopefully they can get it figured out, before you see America, set ablaze or on fire, because if they keep going at this current rate, and there will be some suffrage, but I see America about to get off the chain, but all of these things, on a micro and a macro scale, caused by a lack of discipline. So, to those that are listening to this, I encourage you, hang in there and learn to be more disciplined and get more streamlined, because during these times, hey, winter's here. We are going to have to, if you're going to make it through this depression and the way this country is going right now, it ain't looking too good. The Titanic is sinking. But anywho, stand strong, guys, and make sure you make your preparations for yourself and, for your loved ones, each one reach one. But that's all I have on this podcast, Snack Thoughts. And you can find this podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Spreaker, and I even post the podcast on YouTube as well. On my YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube. That's EricBroadus YouTube, or EricBroadusYouTube.com. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Smash that bell to become a subscriber. Hit the like button if you like the videos. Hit the unlike button if you don't like them. But please leave a comment. Everybody has a right to be heard of the dialogue with you. And please subscribe to Snacks Thoughts here on Anchor. And you can find me on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Radio PBM, SoundCloud, and a host of other social media platforms. But again, the title of this episode was called Lack of Discipline. Consider it and think about it, folks. A lack of discipline has led to all these problems that we're experiencing right now. But I'll see you soon on the next one. Thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for supporting. And I will have more content come out. Trust me, I got it coming. All right. Peace out, guys. Be safe. Catch you on the next one.